So starting off the Wave 19 JSA assortment, we're going to be looking at one of the older characters, and that is Sandman. Sandman is wonderfully sculpted here. It's mostly is a reuse of the Question figure. He's got a little bit different coat here though, and they've added this cape, and of course he's got a brand new head sculpt, but everything else is pretty much from the Question. But the new paint scheme and slightly different remold of the jacket here really does help make this look unique. He's still got all the great detailing on stuff like the gloves here, and the shoes. You can see the laces on them, folds in his costume, all his buttons on the sleeves and breasts of his jacket. He's got the separate tie as well. All very nice. Got nice face sculpt. The mask is very cool. The paint job is pretty good. There is a little bit of mismatch between the colors here. I don't know if you can tell. Not that big of a difference. Looking at the paint on the mask, the goggle portions are this nice, very reflective silver, which is cool. The purplish blue on the sides here isn't as painted as well. There are some little, messy bits there. I wish that were done just a little bit better. And you can kind of see that there are a little bit of gold details on the gas mask portion around the eyes and the breather. It is kind of hard to tell with the yellow there, but slight difference that just gives it a little added flavor, or color, I should say. So for accessories, he's got one accessory, his gas gun, which I actually don't recall. I think they're the same weapon, but he can use it to fire either compressed gas that would put people to sleep, knockout gas, or smoke cover. And he could also use it to shoot a what he called a wirepoon, which would shoot out a harpoon like a grappling hook that was attached to a line, so he could climb buildings and swing down upon the darkened streets at night. But they do not have the wirepoon attachment for the gun. They do have this little clip here on the end of it, and he has a loop on his jacket that you can hook it onto, so he can carry it like that. Unfortunately, on my figure, the loop was pressed close against the jacket, so you can kind of see there that where it's joined to the jacket is kind of stressed. I have seen other reviewers where that it's been fine, so just be aware of that if you're gonna get this guy. And the weapon you do have to fiddle around with it, because it is a little bit too soft to get into his hand, but once you get in there, he holds it quite well. And I'd much rather have it be tough to get in and be secure when he's holding it than, say, someone like, oh, I don't know, Captain Cold, where it's kind of loose in his hand. So for articulation, well, it's pretty much the same as the question, since it uses his body as the starting point for the figure. However, it is a little bit more limited, mainly because the mask here, the gas mask on the head, so it just goes left and right. No real forward and back on the head there. His arms do go all the way around. The cape does get out of the way of it very nicely. He does go out to the side with his arms, rotate at the bicep, bend at the elbow, and rotate at the wrist. He does have ab articulation underneath there, but it is pretty much in place because of the jacket piece, so you're not going to be using that. He does have waist articulation here, and his legs go forward and back. The shortened jacket here does give more articulation for his legs, so compared to the question. And they do go out and in, rotate at the thigh, bend at the knee, and bend forward and back a little bit at the ankle. So the Sandman, or Wes Dodds, first appears in Adventure Comics number 40 in 1939. So he is one of the older DC characters, predating most of the Justice Society. He really starts off as this pulp slash mystery man type character, and really has a more World War II-like gas mask, and really no cape, just a coat. And this was later picked up on and added to his retcon history in the Vertigo series, the Sandman Mystery Theater, and really played up the noir and pulp origins of the character, while also bringing in the Vertigo version of the Neil Gaiman Sandman. He does make a transition to the more superhero-ish type of costume and methods. Eventually, adding the purple cape and the more high-tech looking gas mask. So what's cool about the character is that he does have a female love interest slash partner in the form of Dion Belmont. And while back then most of the female characters were relegated to a damsel in distress type situation, she was always portrayed as a much more equal partner than anything else. He is a founding member of the JSA. He eventually decides to get an even more superhero-like costume. The tight pants and gloves and boots, and a mask and cowl look, and acquires a boy sidekick who would become Sandy and Sand later on in the JSA comics. He did, like I said, in that Vertigo Sandman Mystery Theater, he eventually meets up with the Neil Gaiman Sandman, who gives him the gift / curse of prophetic dreams. And Wes Dodds was fortunate enough to encounter several means of youth-preserving effects during his time with the Justice Society and as a hero, including a stint in a limbo dimension that resembled the final battle of the Norse mythology. So, however, he did manage to escape that limbo, and when he came out, he was still pretty young, but not as young as some of the other members of the JSA. Shortly after that, all the age-retarding processes were undone by the villain extant during 0 Hour, and his true age was, he was reverted to his true age. Well, after that, he retired. He did briefly come out of retirement for a little bit in an adventure with the Jack Knight Starman, and he decided that he would start living really after that, and went on a world tour with his now wife Deanne. I think it's Deanne. Sorry. And he played a pretty big role in the reformation of the JSA. He died protecting the secret of who would become the new Dr. Fate from the villain Mordru. His ward and sidekick now has inherited his dreaming power. And he's had a pretty good run in other media. He's appeared in Batman, Brave and the Bold, and he was in Young Justice, I think, as cameos, basically. One live-action appearance in Smallville. Very quickly, he is killed by the icicle in that Absolute Justice episode / movie. And in Batman the Animated Series, if you take a look at the Ghost design, it is very much based on the Sandman. And no coincidence there. So I guess that'll be it for the Sandman. And stay tuned for more DC Universe Classics figures from Wave 19. And until my next video, I'll see you.